Okay, so going back to this teak, this was replaced by SeaDek, and it is Deck King, and it's pretty good. The quality's good. Finishes, it's quite acceptable actually. I think on balance, although we did wonder about the wisdom of it, on balance I think it probably is the better thing to do, because this is just it's always gonna be in the sun, and of course there's always going to be a line at this point, isn't there, where the UVs attack the teak and it's been protected by the canopy. So this is the flooring in the cockpit, which is in pretty good nick. There's some little bits of wear in the caulking just down here, not very much, and some little bits of wear in the caulking there, but again not very much. It's all in pretty good nick. Cockpit upholstery, relatively recent. That is all in good condition. The only blemish or mark that I have noted on any of it is on the helm seat, just here. Classic stretch point really, I suppose, but otherwise everything about it is pretty good. No serious marks or damage or other than that, just that little stretch point. Dashboard, at face value, looks okay and pretty good, but it has been remade at some point and bolted down, and it's warped in a couple of ways. It's okay. It isn't something that I think I'd rush out to replace, but it does show signs of age. The Volvo warning gauges have started to. Well, I think actually what's happened is that the back of the dashboard started to delaminate just slightly there. I think I know why that is actually, and I'll show you. The door interferes with the gauges on the back of the dashboard. I would imagine the wiring loom behind the dash, but as you open and close, look, the wiring is moving around and it's moving the gauges behind the dash. So it will want, there we go, and that has moved that, so that'll want some attention. But the actual dash panel itself is not in horrendous condition. It's all reasonably presentable. Generator panel just down here. The start. I think it's the preheat button actually on the generator panel here. The membrane's worn through. I don't think that I have ever started the generator. My colleagues may have done in Brundall, but the boat was with us in Brundall for a while, and then she'd moved round to the office with me in Horning. In fact, it was actually me that moved it between sites, which is predominantly a river trip, but with a small speed exempt section of floodplain that connects the two parts of the broad system in between. So I have had it at speed, and it went very well. No nasty noises from the engine bay, nothing obvious, and it I would say actually it didn't really miss a beat. We had well over 30 knots over a 4 mile stretch of floodplain just inside Yarmouth Harbour, and had a bit of fun with it actually. It was a lovely boat. It's very sturdy, very stable, and goes like stink. It's got these are EDCs, which are really lovely to use. I'm sure you've probably used it before. James said that you were in the trade, so I'm sure you know what they are. VHF, it's an old VHF shipmate, RS 8400, and the cables for these renowned really for falling to pieces. So I think it probably has been replaced at some point, because that is a different cable end, and then it goes through a fitting in the dashboard rather than a plug-in fitting. But the VHF works. I've used it, but that is a minor untidy part of it. A couple of little crazings around the cup holder on that dash moulding. Right, I'll take you below.